Hey everybody, Tony D and little Joan here on a Piney podcast. Top news. The storm is finally headed here. Looks like it's going to come up the coast. This is, oh, well, I don't want to play the sound. This is, oh man, I just want the map. There we go. So it looks like Isaiah is heading up the coast. Monday morning, it's going to be like Virginia, Delaware area. It's 75 miles an hour, category 1. By the time it gets to South Jersey, looks like Tuesday morning, it's going to be a tropical storm with high winds. So, you know, you might want to go out and cut down some branches if you've got that tree. I had a tree for a long time. Man, I was worried about that tree. And then one of the branches fell. And luckily, I mean, the branch that fell was the size of a tree. Luckily, it kind of only grazed my shed and didn't hit anything else, amazingly enough. So, thankfully, that was my neighbor's tree, and they removed it. But I had actually had some of the bigger branches removed previously, which I thought would help, but should have gotten more removed. Should have just taken down the whole tree, quite frankly, but it was in my neighbor's yard. Trees are one of the most damaging things to a house. For those of you who never owned a home, it's like, that's the danger. Trees. Yeah, they just fall over. Sometimes they just die and that's it. I had a neighbor, my neighbor right next door to me had 3 massive trees fall. And I live in kind of an old town. So these trees had to be like 100 years old at least. They're huge. They were just, you couldn't put your arms around them. And 3 of them fell. My neighbor had gone outside. He had a balcony on the second floor. He had actually gone out there to watch the storm. It was a big storm. His wife's like, you should come in here. He's like, whatever. So he comes in, and literally a couple minutes later, one of the trees came blam right down onto the balcony, kind of like bounced off of it and fell on the ground. Another one fell across his pool. And another one, I forget what happened to that one. It fell into his fence and into another neighbor's yard. But those trees were so large, any one of them probably could have hit my house if it had fallen the wrong way. So he had a massive, oh my God, he had to redo his whole house, and he got a huge amount of insurance. Obviously, that's why you have homeowners, and so now his house looks brand new, and the trees are gone. And then I convinced him, you really should take out those other big trees, because he had like 4 big pines right in front of his house, which when they were small were probably cute, but his house is like over 100 years old, and they probably planted them when the house was new, and then they were just massive. They were so massive, when it would snow, my yard would be the last yard in the neighborhood to melt, because the shade from the trees would keep the sun off my front lawn and part of the street. But now I have all kinds of sun. Hooray. So the motto is, get rid of your trees. Anyhow, other things in New Jersey. Well, yesterday, I don't have any numbers for today. Beer virus, 11 deaths, 393 confirmed cases. Allegedly. I have to say allegedly now, after the day that Murphy reports 10 cases, and it turns out none of them happened that day. So maybe they happened. Who knows? Who could trust Phil Murphy? Guy wants to report 10 cases, and they're not even on the day he reports them. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But the big news is this. This was from yesterday. The guys at Atilis do some badassery. They kick in the boarded up. Their place was boarded up by the state. They kicked it in and had people go work out. Good for you guys. Good for you guys. These guys aren't backing down. I love it. I love that these guys aren't backing down. I got to go get a membership at this place and support them. Thankfully, somebody's not backing down to Murphy. And the thing that really saddens me is I go to the South Jersey subreddit, and everybody's against these guys just about. Like one person, I wrote good when somebody posted this, and only one person said, yeah, agreed, and everybody else was like, oh, these guys are, they're bad people, blah, blah, blah. They don't listen to the government like the rest of us. Stop being a little baby sheep, okay? The government is not made up of geniuses that know everything. They're made up of regular people who make mistakes. Murphy has made a severe amount of mistakes, in my view. Now, you don't have to agree with me, but at the same time, you just don't have to automatically assume everything Murphy is doing is for your own safety and good. He's a very political person. What was the other thing? Oh, yeah. And speaking of which, New Jersey bill would impose criminal penalties for violations of Murphy's mask order. This is A4453, sponsored by Ralph Caputo and Valerie Huddle. Remember those names. Remember them, and don't ever vote for them. We'll make it failure to wear a mask a petty disorderly person's offense, a low-level crime in New Jersey, punishable with up to 30 days imprisonment, a fine of up to $500 or both. Can you imagine being put in jail for not wearing a mask? When would it apply? In situations, quote, knowing that he is not licensed or privileged to do so, he enters or remains in a store or mercantile retail establishment as to which notice against trespass is given by signage posted that is visible and unobstructed, which requires any person entering the premises or store and retail mercantile establishment must be wearing a mask. Yeah, you care so much about businesses when you can squeeze money out of citizens for stepping out of line. Half these businesses will be closed thanks to you. Idiots. The bill was referred to Assembly Judiciary Committee on July 27th, but a hearing hasn't been scheduled. Email these butt plugs now. Ralph Caputo and Valerie Huddle, D28 and D37, which I assume means their districts. Don't let these idiots pass this. This is an incredibly oppressive measure. Incredibly oppressive. Imagine being put in jail for 30 days without your mask. I don't think they got masks in prison. Unbelievable. Unbelievably oppressive. He's letting prisoners out who committed actual crimes. 20% of the prison population he wants to let out. Oh, but he'll put you in jail for not wearing a mask. Will he put any of those other prisoners? Yeah, I'm sure those guys will be wearing masks. Yeah, I'm sure the guys who have already gone to jail, oh, they'll put on a mask. Yeah, because they obey the law so much, Murphy. Freaking hypocrite. Oh, this is for my next video. So anyhow, once again, fired up about Phil Murphy. He ruins my day. Just ruins my day every time I read about him. But the Atilis guys, badassery. Defying the state, flying American flags. It's just so great. It's so awesome that they did that. And again, it's healthy people being prevented to go about their lives. Healthy people. And somebody said online, actually had the nerve to me, oh, just because you're swole doesn't mean you're not going to get the virus. That's kind of true, except that healthy people are less likely to get sick. Do you not know basic science? People who are in great health are going to be more resistant to lots of things, including viruses, especially viruses. Idiots on the internet. Sometimes I think the internet is mostly shills, mostly people paid just to continue a narrative to oppress you. Or perhaps it's the opposite. Perhaps it's a psyop to get you all fired up. Perhaps it's a Trump psyop. He's already transformed the CIA into being on his side, and he's just firing up everybody else to vote for him. God, if you vote for these Democrats, you are the ones that are really unhealthy.